Good evening and welcome to Real Talk, where every Sunday night we offer insight, education, and resources to in-home caregivers and those affected in their world. These are the children, the parents, the extended family, and everyone who loves them. And our goal is to offer real life topics and learning through discussing real issues and offering real solutions. And tonight we're going to take a little bit of a different approach. I am going to chat with you tonight. So first off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and about newborn care solutions, but also why I'm really passionate about tonight's topic. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tonya, and I am the co-founder and director of education for Newborn Care Solutions. I am an INA credentialed nanny and newborn care specialist, a postpartum doula, a master newborn care specialist, and the lead educator for Newborn Care Solutions. And I have been working in the in-home childcare industry since I was 19 years old. That's been quite a while. It's been over 30 years. And I have worked with everything from one baby to six, most of the time working with twins and triplets. And in the last few years, only doing fill-in work for other newborn care specialists or an occasional temporary short job because I focus solely on the Department of Education, so to speak, within Newborn Care Solutions. And what does that mean? Well, Newborn Care Solutions is an education company that specializes in the education of newborn care specialists, postpartum doulas, nannies, and parents, providing them information around all things newborn. And of course, providing that information with the goal of supporting families, with the goal of there being optimal care for babies, optimal care for families, and an amazing outcome for the children that we all love. And I have really been blessed over the years to be able to do this kind of things. But the biggest reason why we still do what we do here at Newborn Care Solutions is because we're passionate about education, not only base level education, but also ongoing education. And I want to talk about that topic with you all tonight because it comes up a lot. I see it, I hear about it, people ask me about it, and people ask me if I still do it. So I'm going to start with, yes, I still participate in ongoing education. I take a multitude of classes every single year to keep learning, to experience different viewpoints. I say to people sometimes, look, if the only thing you learn is why you disagree with something that the educator has shared, you've still learned something really valuable because it cements within you the knowledge that you believe in and share with your particular clients. And so, yes, I absolutely don't believe in ongoing education just as us as an education company, but I believe in it for myself. And I love continuing to learn. I love growing as a person and as a care provider and also as an educator. And it provides all those opportunities. But what I really want to focus on tonight is something that I've been seeing more and more. And I see it a lot in discussion groups. I see it on Facebook pages. I even hear it from people either directly or indirectly. And that is the topic of whether or not we all need ongoing education. Because a lot of times people will ask questions, either, hey, I'd like to learn more about this topic, or what do you guys all know about this topic? Or even more specifically, hey, what do you guys know about XYZ training? And it can be on any topic, right? And I see lots of answers, lots of here's why you should do it. I hear answers from people that are very valid reasons for why, either at that moment in their life or maybe even ongoing, where further education isn't an opportunity for them right now. It could be something like a big life event. Oh, I've got a wedding coming up, or I have a new grandbaby being born, or I'm going to have my own child. I need to focus on that right now. So big life events absolutely are valid reasons to postpone education. Or maybe somebody's already in a class and they feel like they can't dedicate more time to that ongoing education, or more time to a class that might be really intensive that they need to focus on. Maybe they've had a loss of a job from them or from with their life partner. And so it makes it really challenging to pay for ongoing education. And I will add a little caveat here. Not all ongoing education has to be paid for. There's a lot of free opportunities out there. I know that we as a company offer ongoing free education opportunities, and I know that there's a multitude of other free ways to learn out there. So I wouldn't say that finances always have to be a barrier to further education. In addition, you should always ask. There are lots of companies like ours that have scholarship programs, that have specific dedicated programs, and who have payment plans. So there's lots of ways to make things happen, even if it doesn't have to mean finances out of your pocket right in that moment. Sometimes the time obligations that classes might take are just too much right now. Maybe you're with a client who needs you 24/7 and dedicating time for a class is a challenge. But the reality is there's a lot of good reasons why people sometimes choose not to take a class right away or to further their education in that moment. But there is one objection that baffles me every single time, and that's the one I want to talk about today. And that is the concept that, oh, well, I've got 15 years of experience, or I've got 20 years of experience, or one I saw the other day, I've got 25 years of experience. I don't need to take a class. I don't have anything new to learn. And I would tell you that to me, that is not a valid reason. That is something that if you are someone who thinks that way, or you're talking to somebody who thinks that way, I think there's a challenge in that. And the challenge is to re-examine that viewpoint. And I'm going to talk to you about what that means. That's what I want to really focus on. Here's what you probably should know about me going into this right out of the gate. I'm pretty well known in our industry for saying that the day that you think you know it all is the day that you should retire because you just became dangerous. And I want to take just the next few minutes to kind of expand on that concept from different angles and explain what I mean by that. Because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, what do you mean I'm dangerous? I mean, I know a lot. Well, how could I possibly be dangerous? So let's start with this. The fact that you might have, or someone you know might have a lot of experience and that is valuable to what you do, 100% right on. Yes, absolutely. That experience is valuable. That experience is important. So one of the other things I'm really well known for saying is nobody can teach you as much as the babies will. The babies can always teach you more than I can. And they can teach you more than any class can. But they can't teach you everything. They teach you important things, absolutely. And that experience should never be discounted. But we also need to look at the fact that there is great value in both experience and education. There's always room to learn. There's always room to grow. So let's dig into that for a minute. Here's the thing. Information and resources change as we learn through both personal experience, the experience of others, and through the discoveries that science and research make. But if we're not seeking education in all of its forms, if we're not seeking to learn and to grow and to evolve, then we're missing out on those discoveries and the positive potential impact they could have on the clients that we work with. If we dismiss those opportunities to gain new knowledge, we could potentially miss out on something that is super important. And missing out on that could delay or completely obliterate the opportunity for a child in our care to get help for something that they might need. Or because we haven't learned the latest information, I hate to say it, but we could potentially even put a child that we are professing both professionally and personally to care about, we could instead be putting them into direct danger by not keeping up on the newest information out there. And I'm going to give you an example because that's what I do. So let's think about for a minute all the advances that are made in the medical industry, for example. How many more people would suffer or possibly not even make it if there was not continually new research and new science and new treatments put out there that are discovered because people are doing their research. But to me, the worst aspect of that is that they have been discovered. The information is out there, but then it's dismissed by somebody who thinks that they have enough experience that they don't need to continually learn and grow. Okay? That comes from a place that could potentially create harm for a client. And we need to think about it, not in terms of what's best for us, but maybe what's best for the client that we're working with. And what is best if we profess to be a professional in this industry is keeping up on current research, continuing to learn, and keeping up on the latest in cures and information in order to ensure that the clients and the babies in our care have all the things that they need in order to make a well-informed, educated decision in the parenting realm and to benefit the babies, obviously. The same thing applies to products that are on the market. I saw a discussion just the other day about rock and plays, and somebody said, hey, you do realize that that rock and play has been recalled. And the person who posted it had no idea. And their comment, so it was a discussion outside of social media. It was within just an email discussion group. But what they said was, oh, well, I don't pay any attention to things that are put out on social media. I only use that for entertainment. Now, let's be real. Social media is a great form of entertainment sometimes, but there is also occasionally really good educational information shared. And so this person had no idea that the rock and play had been pulled off the market because it had endangered babies' lives. And here's the thing, without ongoing information, without ongoing knowledge about products, their use, their safety, and potentially their recalls, we don't know best practices. We don't know what is safest for the babies in our care. We don't know what's best for our clients, and we could potentially be doing something really dangerous. And you know what? If we're being paid for the work that we do, we can also be held liable for any decision that we make that puts out there, that we put out there that isn't best practice or that goes against a recall or goes against medical advice. So if for nothing else, then the protection of the safety of the baby in your care and for your own personal and professional safety, making sure that you are educated and staying up on current medical information and current products in the market is super important. Here's the thing too, we talked about the fact that information can change, products can be recommended one day and then recalled the next, and that has happened for sure. But you know what? There's also entirely new information that comes onto the market periodically. And here's the thing, it could be about something we've never heard of before, or it could be about something that we're familiar with. So let's take our current world circumstances in the last 3 years. 3.5 years ago, none of us had heard the term coronavirus. None of us had heard the term COVID, with very few rare exceptions. And yet it's a term we all understand and acknowledge to the best of our ability now, because it's something entirely new that has come onto the market. And here's the thing about it, the information around that is ever changing. And we're learning new things all the time. The information around vaccines, the information about the spread of the virus, the information about ways to protect yourself and other people, it's constantly changing. And since we work in an industry where a human being's health is directly impacted, it's critical that we stay up on that information so that we know that we're following best practices. Okay, so that's something brand new that's come onto the market. But I also want to talk about things that maybe have been around for a long time. Maybe they've been around for decades, maybe even longer. But newer research provides new information that maybe we've never had before, and that can really make a difference in our understanding about it and how it impacts those people that we are caring for or care about. So I'm going to give you another example. Oral ties. It's also called tethered oral tissues, but the most common term that we hear around that are tongue ties or lip ties. Okay, so the reality is that we've known about these in the general community and in the medical community for literally centuries. There are images in old medical journals of instruments that were used to correct these. There's information there about them. And we've known for a long time that they can negatively impact the parent-child nursing relationship. Okay, so that information and our experience around it absolutely can serve us well. We might recognize what it is. We might be able to share with parents, and we might be able to, refer them back to their healthcare provider. But here's an interesting thing. In the last few years, all we've really ever learned or focused on is the potential negative impact it can have on a baby and the parent nursing relationship, right? But we've only thought of it as a baby problem. It doesn't change the fact that it's actually much more than that. It's actually something that has health implications, both physical and mental health implications into adulthood. And it's only been very recently that the scientific community has turned their eye to that and is starting to have an understanding that not correcting oral ties in infancy can have long-term health implications for adults. Things like anxiety, things like digestive issues, things like TMJ and teeth issues, migraines. There's just a ton of information that is just now starting to come out of the medical community. And you think, well, great, but I don't work with adults. How does that come into play? Here's how. Because a lot of times we work with clients who ask us the question, well, is it really that big a deal if I don't get this fixed? Does it have any implications, or is this just an issue about feeding the baby? And up until fairly recently, that's really all we knew about it. We didn't know that it had other implications. And part of our job as nannies, as doulas, as newborn care specialists, is to provide the clients that we work with quality, up-to-date information in an unbiased fashion so that they can look at all of it and then make the very best decision they can. So it's important that we stay up on this information in order to fulfill that role. If all we know about tongue ties, as we talked about, for example, is how it impacts babies, then we're not giving a client all the information they need to make a fully informed and educated decision. And obviously they need to make that decision together with their healthcare provider, who may not have the information either. So I would say it is really important to look at everything and really try and continually stay up on it in order to be the very best advocates that we can be for our clients and for the babies that are in their care. It's only by keeping up on that learning we know the information and are able to have educated, informed discussions with our clients around that. And the final thing that I want to address around this, because in all honesty, in my mind, it's probably one of the biggest aspects of this thing that we should consider if we or someone we know thinks that we have nothing left to learn. Because here's the thing, if that's our mindset, if we think we know it all, the reality is we are a danger to ourselves and those around us, because it means we have a closed mind. It means that we're not opening to examining new information and new resources and potentially changing our mind about what we know on a topic. A closed mindset means many times that if something is out of the ordinary, just doesn't seem quite right, or doesn't fall within our realm of particular experience, we run the very real risk of dismissing something that has the potential to harm us or harm another person. It could be missing something that is obvious or something that's just nuanced. But either way, it's not a good place to be. It's not a good mindset to have, and it doesn't serve us or our clients well if we think we know everything. So if this has been you, or it's somebody that you know, I have a challenge for you. I would challenge you to consider this. We all want to be our best. We all want to give our best. And in order to do that effectively, both now and in the future, we can never stop growing and we can never stop learning. We are never too old or too experienced to learn something new and to bring something valuable to the clients and the babies that are in our care. So here's to continued learning, no matter your age, your stage, or your experience level, because continued learning will always serve you well. Thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions around this topic or anything related to learning or growing in any capacity, please put them in the field. You can tag me or you can tag Newborn Care Solutions, and we'll make sure you get answers or a response. And if you're wanting to rewatch this segment or catch any of our past Real Talk episodes, along with accessing all of our other educational content, pop over to newborncaresolutions.com and click on the Education tab. Or you can check out our content on our YouTube channel by typing Newborn Care Solutions into the search engine, or you can find us on all the podcast channels. Thanks so much for joining us and have a great night.